Welcome to the Weather Insights Tropical Briefing. I'm meteorologist Scott Pitney, along with meteorologist Jeff Lindner. And this is Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. Jeff, we're into November and we're still talking about the tropics. You called it earlier in the season with the sea surface temperatures being so high and the active season we were talking about. Thought that maybe this might be one of the busier Novembers we've seen in a while. And sure enough, we have a potential tropical cyclone now in the southwestern Caribbean, expected to move north, getting some pretty strong convection signals down there, but not too much organization right now. But because of that, there is a tropical storm watch in effect for Jamaica, and then a hurricane watch in effect for the Caymen Islands, expected to pass through Jamaica early Tuesday morning, and then later Tuesday afternoon, and then cross over the western portion of Cuba there as a hurricane, and then move into the Gulf of Mexico, and then expected to be downgraded back to a tropical storm and slow down its forward speed. It's going to be running into some wind shear and other things that we'll be taking a look at. Sea surface temperatures a little bit cooler, but still enough to provide fuel for the storm. Yeah, there's the sea surface anomalies right there. And so we do have sea surface temperatures in the 80s, which of course 80 degrees Fahrenheit is the minimum you need for hurricane fuel, and so we're still there. Little bit cooler though in in the eastern part of the Gulf, but as you get closer to the coast, you have the sea surface temperature, warmer sea surface temperatures, but then you have the increased wind shear as this thing gets closer. So be interesting to see, but interest around Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Western Cuba, certainly the Florida Keys, the eastern coast of Florida, mainly for rain. They are going to be on the dirty side of this thing, so they need to be aware of the rain event that is going to be associated with this. But interesting that we are talking about a hurricane, likely a hurricane later this week in November.
Yeah, we'll see how it all kind of comes together. It's interesting. The aircraft was down here this morning, and they couldn't find anything at the surface. There appears to be some mid-level spin showing up down in this region. So this is the area we're kind of looking at right in here, and we'll see where an actual center kind of forms, and then it's going to kind of move on off to the northeast, and then kind of curve back toward the west northwest northwest, and then somehow getting over into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. I think there's some time here for things to change a little bit when it comes to the track of this. And there's definitely some differences as this thing gets up into the Gulf of Mexico, northwest of Cuba, with where exactly is the system, how strong is the system, and some of that could influence the track of the system, and also where high pressure is located over the eastern United States. And you can see the European model here kind of takes it to the west,
Yep.
but this is in a much weaker state. And so this, while this would, Texas looks concerning for Texas, I wouldn't really say that this is a significant threat to the Texas coast. Anything that were to come in this direction would face a lot of shear and may not even survive that. It may just completely degenerate into a low. And it'll be interesting to see if we actually do get a defined tropical storm up toward the southeast Louisiana or central U.S. Gulf Coast. As this comes up, you can see the models that kind of slow it down, meandered a little bit. And then also that wind shear from the front that is going to be coming through here on Tuesday morning,
Yeah.
that moves out to the Gulf of Mexico and produces some wind shear here across the northern Gulf. And so these are kind of the differences. This is the European 500 millibar kind of steering in the anomaly. So you can see the great big blocking high over the Great Lakes, big upper trough here in the southwest United States, and our tropical system down here to the south. Again, the European much stronger with this high, tropical system a little bit further south and west, bigger high back down into Texas. And this results in that kind of westward motion in the central Gulf of Mexico. The GFS, a little bit different of a scenario. Highs a little bit further to the north and east. Upper level trough here in the southwest is a little bit further east. Our system here in the Gulf of Mexico is also eastward, and so not as much of an emphasis on that leftward kind of turn. It's kind of left to meander here toward the southeast coast of Louisiana, Mississippi. It's not completely unheard of. I think it was, if my memory serves me correctly, 2019 or maybe it was 2009. We had a tropical storm in November make landfall kind of in the same area, Mississippi, Alabama, that area right there. So it's not completely unheard of. We get November tropical systems. The last kind of big one that we had is in, I believe, 1985 with Hurricane Kate, which was a Category 2 hurricane that hit the Florida Keys and then moved up towards the Florida Panhandle, and it was a little bit later in November, so not completely out of the realm here. It is a little bit unusual to track of this. Most systems this time of year that form in the Western Caribbean tend to move off toward the east or the northeast and kind of away from the United States, but this resembles much more of a almost an August or September type
Yeah,
track
really does.
coming up and curving towards the Gulf Coast. But again, I think there's a lot of uncertainty here as this gets up into the Gulf of Mexico because it's going to be what kind of structure are we looking at with this, and that's going to determine the steering. And so this could be a sheared, weakening tropical storm with not a lot of impact, and we'll just have to see what exactly that looks like as we get toward the later part of the week. I think this is for sure going to peak down here in the northwestern Caribbean. So the Caymans, like you mentioned, over towards western Cuba. These areas could have dealing with a hurricane, could even be a little bit stronger. This is still very favorable right now in this area,
Yeah.
but as it comes up to the north, things just get more and more unfavorable the later you get in the season. So we'll see what this looks like as it comes up later this week. And then, of course, locally here, we got a front coming in. Finally, I wouldn't say this is a decent front, but it's actually a front that's going to move through, sort of.
Yeah.
And like we've been seeing since mid last week, where we have additional chances for showers and thunderstorms Monday and Tuesday, even some severe threat with the front.
Yeah. As we enter what some call the mini severe weather season, we see that, and we saw that last night. Unfortunately, they had a tornado outbreak there in Oklahoma City. There was some damage done there and injuries and so forth. I haven't looked at the details of the report there, but that definitely looks like a spring-like setup. And yeah, this is the time of year where you get that, at least for the next month or so until things cool down. But yeah, this is a fairly robust front, bringing some thunderstorms, a lot of thunderstorms with it, and some drier, cooler air. So good for most of the area that's getting the rain. Of course, nobody ever wants severe weather, but the rain is very welcome.
Yeah, and some areas had a lot of rain yesterday, Friday, and yesterday. I mean, there's parts in Fort Bend County that had 4 or 5 inches of rain
Yeah,
yesterday, and even the western portion of Harris, 2 to 3 inches. And then we do have a risk of heavy rain, and there's a marginal risk of flash flooding with that line of storms that comes through probably after midnight Monday,
yeah,
maybe as late as sunrise on Tuesday, election day. So it could be, and this should get off to the coast around midday and clear kind of out of here by the afternoon and evening. So not a complete washout on Tuesday, but the morning commute could have some showers and thunderstorms with it as that line comes through on Tuesday morning.
yeah. Will definitely have an effect likely on the tropics. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll have a update later on this week, see what's going on out there. And of course, you can stay in touch with us by staying in touch with our YouTube channel, the Weather Insights YouTube channel. You can subscribe, be sure to share with friends and family so you can keep informed on the latest in the tropics and all the weather. Be sure to check out our blog too on our Weather Insights blog. Jeff, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.